Kristen Edmiston, and I am a local business owner. I actually have two of my own small businesses, and I'm kind of wearing the hat today as my consulting business, and it's called Edmiston and Associates, and I'm a business coaching and consulting firm, and right here in Edmonton, but I do service actually international companies. And I work with public sector organizations as well as small business owners, small to medium-sized business owners. And I have a few thoughts I wanted to share with you today. If you're a small business owner, the topic of my discussion today is 3 key questions that I think everyone should be asking. And I'm pulling this, my thinking around this from a lot of conversations I've been having with small business owners lately. And hopefully it helps you. It's kind of at a 50,000 foot level, but I think with a bit of work and a bit of massaging, you could find ways for it to be really applicable in whatever it is you're facing right now as well. And so, I'm hearing themes, and maybe you can relate. Lately, I'm hearing of small business owners just working through all the emotions, right? And that's everything from frustration, anger, despair, confusion, anxiety, and in the worst case scenario, you guys, it's hopelessness, helplessness, throwing your hands up in the air saying, I give up, I don't know what else I can do. And that's really unfortunate, because I don't think we're there yet. Every business, of course, is in their own place, but I think there's opportunity here to there's still hope. There's opportunity to find ways to make it work. And I hope that I can instill some of that inspiration in you today if you're feeling any of those really tough emotions right now. So I'm also going to offer, within those 3 questions, I'm going to offer some general strategies that maybe you can apply as well. So trying to give you some tools right here in the moment. I'll do my best to take some questions if we're not having any more technical issues. And but if you find that there's something you'd like to talk to me about one-on-one in a more personal setting, or if it's very specific to your business, please reach out. I'm doing this all the time with small businesses these days, and I don't even call it coaching or even consulting for that matter. I call them strategy partner sessions, and it's where we can just sit together, put our minds together, problem solve through some things that you might be going through in your small business decisions, and coming through and creating a bit of a plan. Because we need a plan, right, to re-enter into this world. And I'm more than happy to chat about that with you. So do reach out if you have any questions after today. Okay, so those 3 questions I think every small business owner should be asking right now. Number 1, in what ways can my business stay the same? Number 2, in what ways can I change for the better? And number 3, in what ways can I get ready for the future? So 3 questions. And with the phrase, in what ways? That's very much on purpose, because even at the best of times, us as human beings, we are hardwired in certain thought patterns. And the way we ask a question makes a huge difference in terms of how we're able to come up with answers. And we get stuck in these mental ruts, if you will. And by simply phrasing the question as, in what ways, there's a couple of things happening. Number 1, we're putting a positive connotation to this so that there's possibility. So in what ways? And secondly, we're making it plural. So not what way can we do this? There's not one right answer, but we're implying that there's more than one right answer. And that's going to encourage us to keep searching for other solutions instead of stopping at the first one and running with it. So those 3 questions all begin with the phrase, in what ways? And I challenge you to try asking yourself when you're working through a problem or trying to come up with a creative solution, use that phrasing and reframe it and see how it helps. I catch myself doing it in conversation all the time, even when I'm not working with a client. And the possibilities in the conversation just really kind of blow up from there. Okay, so in what ways can my business stay the same? So even though it feels like everything around us has changed, and really so much has, there are certain aspects of your business that should not change. And by that I mean those things that got you to where you are now. What your business is made of, the values that you've built it upon, the trust that you've created with your clients and your customers, or the quality of service and products that you've become known for. Your reputation that you've worked so hard to build, we need to leverage that right now. Because, now more than ever, we are so dependent upon our loyal customers and their referrals that we can't just change our identity. We can't just now lose that or not be authentic to it. And the tricky part is when we're dealing with all these layers of emotions, sometimes our behavior comes out sideways. And so just returning to your authentic self as a business and who you are as a brand is critically important. So as we pivot, and I know some people cringe when I say that word right now, but it is the word of 2020. As we pivot, we cannot throw the baby out with the bathwater. Keep what has been working for you. Keep that reputation front and center and figure out ways to leverage it. Okay? Stay authentic, stay relatable, and shine where you are. Okay? So keep that in mind. So here's the strategy I'm going to throw into the mix around this particular question. It's kind of a 3-part strategy with 3 C's. So the first C is connect. So connect with your customers. Now, for those of you who feel shy and you don't like doing video or something like this, or social media just makes your eyes glaze over, you've maybe thought of a YouTube channel, but the idea scares you to death. Now's the time to park all that ego nonsense and just go do it. You have to be visible right now. As a small business owner, it is the best strategy with the lowest cost. So be as visible as you possibly can. Okay, so that's how you're going to connect. Try to connect with your customer. The second C is being authentic and connecting in a way that gives them the information that they need to know, right? So how are you managing these changes? What are your plans for reopening? What are some of your challenges? Be honest, right? Sometimes we think we can't show that vulnerable underbelly, but the playing field has been leveled, you guys. People are appreciating that honest face now, and that's why video has been so effective. So connect with your customers, whether it's newsletter, email, or I don't know, go old school and pick up the phone and do a check-in. A business that I've been patronizing now for almost a decade, and they were doing regular check-ins with me once a week to say, hey, Kristen, how are you doing? And you know what? When they opened up for business, I was one of the first people standing in line to just take my money, right? So make sure that those connections are authentic, make them real, and ask them, tell them how they can support you. Sometimes we get so overly polite, we get scared to actually ask for help, and yet there's people out there that don't know how to support us necessarily. So tell them what you need from them, tell them what you can offer them. And of course, make sure that you're really clear about what you're doing to ensure everyone's safety. That's often top of mind in the first question that your customers and clients may have. So that's the second C. The third C is continue. So with communication, we think that we do it well, and we think that we do it enough, but we never do. We always overestimate how powerful our communication skills are. We really do. And so once is not enough. One Instagram post, one story, not enough. We need more. It may seem repetitive to you because you're the one repeating yourself, but the idea here is to go broad and deep. So sometimes people are going to miss that Facebook story or the Facebook Live or the Instagram post. They're not going to catch it in their feed. So you need to repeat it to kind of cast a larger net so you're getting that broader reach. And also the depth part comes with that repeated message. So it solidifies in our mind. This is why when we watch TV and those commercials that absolutely drive us crazy because we've seen them 4 times in a 1-hour period, we still end up checking out the website. Or maybe when we're shopping for a car, it's the first dealership we go to check out. So continue. Communication one time is not enough. So those are the 3 C's. Okay, on to question number 2 that I think every small business owner should be asking right now. In what ways can I change for the better? Now, pandemic or not, every small business, medium-sized business, large business should be asking themselves on a regular basis, how can I improve? Because if we stay stagnant, we're going to be snuffed out. We're going to become irrelevant. And there's so many moving parts this day and age that we simply have to continually ask ourselves, how can I do better as a business? And so now, of course, in the pandemic, this is the perfect time. Maybe you're slow on the business side, but now is your opportunity to dig in and improve somewhere. Maybe there's something you've been meaning to do to build that client engagement that you just haven't had the time to do. Don't hesitate. Now is your moment, right? So in what ways can you change for the better? What would it look like? Ask yourself this. What would it look like? We will post the 3 C's. Absolutely, Darcy and Christy. I will make sure we do that. What would it look like if you were more responsive or faster to address your customers' questions, or if you were more efficient? So there was less waste in your processes and therefore maybe lost time, right? Like how could you gain a little bit more time by improving your processes and being more efficient? How could you save money? Finding different suppliers or negotiating with them to get a better price or higher quality. How could you become more attractive to your clients, more noticeable? So in what ways can you do better? That is a question we should always be asking, but especially right now. Now here's the other kicker. As we go back into the re-entry world as small business owners, everybody is scrambling for the same dollar, right? There's a sense of scarcity right now, which I could argue there isn't as much scarcity as we assume there is, but that's a different topic altogether. But as we're all scrambling for that same dollar, you need to find a way to stand out, okay? So in what ways can you go back to your customers and communicate to them about how you are doing better, right? It's another platform for you to engage with your clients and your customers on. So continuous quality improvement is kind of like the scientific term around this. And the thing is, it doesn't always have to be a big change. Sometimes those small or those incremental changes can make all the difference. So keep that in mind. Don't be overwhelmed by change. Embrace it and see how you could do better. There's no better time to take a look at your policies, your procedures, and your business model overall and think about how you could do better. So the strategy that I want to tie into this question, I'm going to focus in on the 2 key things that my small business clients typically come to me for when it comes to improvement, when they want to improve. So number 1 is around improving the customer or the client experience. And number 2 is around finding efficiencies or increasing profit margins, right? Sometimes we struggle with pricing, whether it be negotiating with our suppliers or figuring out what to actually retail our supplies or our materials at or our services at. So if we were to focus on those 2 things around improving customer service and building that relationship and efficiency, here's what I'd say. Talk about your customer experience with your customers, right? That's one way. Ask them what they've appreciated about doing business with you. Get that candid feedback. Start those conversations. You're going to automatically be building trust as always, every single time you have that conversation. And then in terms of efficiency, I don't know if you've heard, give me a like or a thumbs up if you've heard of the methodology called Lean or Six Sigma. So it's an improvement methodology that's used in all kinds of industries. It's kind of really came to light through the automotive industry with Toyota, the Toyota Way. Maybe you've heard of that too. But the whole idea around efficiency and finding efficiency in our businesses boils down to eliminating waste. So the term muda is a Japanese term for waste. And so when trying to find ways to be more efficient, if you can eliminate the wasted time, wasted resources, wasted talent, so not having the right people in the right jobs at the right time, that's a waste. Wasted inventory, wasted travel, or even like rework, right? So when mistakes happen in your process and you have to go back and either fix a problem or redo something, that's waste. So how can you do better? By becoming more efficient, by reducing waste. Okay, so that's the other strategy that I wanted to tie into that question. Okay, on to question number 3. In what ways can I get ready for the future? So if we haven't learned anything from this, except for this one lesson, I think we're a step ahead. We just must be more flexible and more adaptable. So no one has a crystal ball. Nobody can foretell what exactly is going to happen and when. But we've heard the news, right? They are calling for a second wave of this pandemic. The fallout in the economy is a huge uncertainty. But surely there's something that we can do in our businesses to prepare for the future, to at least anticipate it so we don't have the rug ripped out from beneath us again, because that's like the worst feeling ever. So how on earth can we be more adaptable and more flexible going forward? So think about how you as a business can prepare for the future. As the world is operating differently around us, we're going to have to operate differently too. And some people really struggle with this when we have a conversation about what's to come, because I get it lobbed back to me that, Kristen, it's just going to go back to the way it was. This is just temporary and I'm just waiting it out. Or once we have a vaccine, things are going to go back to normal. And that sounds wonderful. And I'm with you. I want to believe that more than anything. But as a small business owner and as a business consultant, I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. I don't think we can afford to. So just to share a couple of strategies that maybe could tie into your business, I've got some ideas here. And this is what I get most excited about with my clients, is sitting down and brainstorming ways to do things differently or change it up, right? Because two heads are better than one. And when you apply some creativity, it's incredible what we can come up with. So think about how you can be first. This is my strategy for you. How can you be first? This requires you to innovate, right? Do something different that no one's ever done before. Maybe that's not a complete step outside of your sandbox. But you want to be in a position where you're not the follower, where you're not playing catch up because a handful of your competitors had taken on a new strategy and you think you should be doing it too. That's not in a position of power. So it's risky to go first, there's no question, but I think now is an opportunity for us to test different things that we've maybe never done before and try something different. So I'll throw out a couple of ideas here. So let's say that you are a restaurant owner, okay, and business is down because your bricks and mortar location can, right now only have 50% capacity, right? And before that it was just takeout or pickup or delivery, right? So, in what ways could you maybe take your signature dishes and offer them as a take and bake option? Maybe your customers could buy multiple packages now, keep them in their freezer so that if and when we end up shutting things down, they're not scrambling to get to the grocery store. They know that they've got a few of their favorite meal packs in the freezer. Maybe this is just another addition to your menu. Maybe it's another option as a restaurant owner, that it's not just come in and sit and have a drink with your meal and have the experience of being together. Maybe you're providing another option for those people who don't feel safe yet, or they won't feel safe in even 6 months or a year. Because you know what? There's going to be customers out there who were loyal to you that will still not feel safe even though government says we can open. So you need to create a service offering that's going to fit them as well. Okay, so that's just one off the top of my head example for a restaurant owner. And we could play with that probably for a good couple hours. Let's say you have a clothing store. How could you be first? How could you do something different to change up your customer experience as a clothing boutique? Well, for those people that don't feel comfortable coming into a store, trying on clothes, or maybe trying on clothes that other people have tried on, maybe you could offer a virtual fashion consultant session. So maybe you have your employees at the ready to take appointments, and me as a customer, I could sign up for one of these appointments, and my personal fashion consultant could kind of take a list of things I'm interested in: jeans, t-shirts, tank tops, and shorts, pull some items off the racks, and even try them on for me doing a Zoom meeting or FaceTime. That way I can actually have a one-on-one conversation about how those jeans fit. I could describe, how I like my clothes to fit and try to get that into personal feedback. And here's the thing, as a business owner, as an employee, it's an opportunity to introduce more products to the sale instead of passively online, people looking at a picture, looking at the description, clicking their size, and add to cart, right? Having that interaction where someone can explain to you how, this shirt really complements the fit of these jeans. How do you put a price on that, right? And so be first, be that boutique out there that offers this personalized shopping experience. Offer a higher commission to your employees to encourage them to go the extra mile. It's no different than someone working for tips, right? Something that's not been done right now, and I don't know about you, but the shopping experiences I've had online lately, it's either smooth and slick and somebody's put a lot of time and effort into their websites, or people, you can tell they've scrambled. And maybe you felt this as a small business owner, where in a pinch you knew you had to migrate from bricks and mortar to online, and something kind of got slapped together, but it's difficult to manage your inventory and the pictures are kind of shoddy and can't figure out why the sales aren't working for you. Maybe there's another layer that you can add. And this is something that is sustainable, right? This doesn't have to just be in the short term. I'll give you one more example of a strategy for thinking for the future. Let's say you are in real estate or a new home builder. So question, as we have been going through this pandemic and spending a lot more time at home, what are some of the things we wish we had more of for space? Maybe more pantry space, or that outlet we needed for a second freezer, or maybe a separate space where the kids could just let loose and play, or a place to do some homeschooling. So, if I was a real estate agent or a new home salesperson right now thinking into the future, I would want to be building my marketing packages around, hey, remember what it was like when we were stuck at home with our kids and had to work from home too? Well, look at this house. It's just been listed, and this room is easily transformable into home office, or this could be punched out into a pantry space for those extra supplies you want to keep on hand. If I'm a new home builder, I'm going to be working really hard right now to come up with floor plans to accommodate the next wave. So just something to think about, right? And they may seem extreme, and it may seem so far-fetched when we're assuming that things are going to go back to the way they were. Like, Kristen, I don't need to homeschool my kids next year. Everything's going to be fine. Well, we don't really know that. And a lot of people are going to be continuing to work from home because larger companies are not going to be paying leases on office buildings, right? So think for the future. That's the third question I think every business owner should be thinking of right now. In what ways can I prepare for the future? So my final thoughts, I've given you 3 questions that I think every small business owner should be thinking on right now. And it starts with, in what ways? So in what ways can I stay the same? In what ways can I do better or improve? And in what ways can I prepare for the future? And I've given you a few strategies in there as well. So high level, yes, but I can honestly say that I've worked with clients from a large variety of industries over the past couple of months. We've put our heads together, and this is a theme. These are the 3 things that we worked through to come up with a re-entry plan or a what's next plan. And I think, the couple parting thoughts I just want to leave with you is, don't make these hard decisions alone. Don't do them in isolation. It breaks my heart to hear that small business owners have cried more in the past 2 months than they have in the past 5 years, and they feel alone and isolated and sometimes shamed, right? They're ashamed that they aren't able to keep their business going. You are not alone. We are in this together, and these big decisions, they should be well thought out, and all creative strategies should be exhausted before we make big decisions about closing down, right? We need to save our small businesses wherever we can, and I truly believe in that. As a small business owner myself, but a believer in the Edmonton community, and we need to help each other out wherever we can. And then the last bit of advice I can offer is think about where you can collaborate with other small businesses. So we are stronger together, but we need to take those tangible steps to make it happen. So who out there could you collaborate with to maybe create a more valuable product or service, or to help promote one another out there? Who, right? Maybe you could create a small network of other small businesses and come out with something together. We need each other. So think about that as well. You're not alone. Don't make these tough decisions without talking to somebody that you trust about all the pros and cons, all the possibilities, and reach out, right? See who else you can work with. And that's where I'm seeing small businesses find success right now, is hand in hand, arm in arm, people going out at it together. So apologies for the technical glitch earlier, but if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you'd like to talk about your own business challenges, I'm all ears. I'm always open to having a chat with you about that too. Be ready for a little bit of enthusiasm. If it's too much for you, then I may not be your girl, but even in a pandemic, I am the glass half full person. And I think we all need a little extra hope right now. So what you see is what you get. That's who I am. And hi, Justine. And I would love to hear from you. So you can reach out by email. My email address is kristen.edmiston@live.com, or on Facebook or Instagram. And it's Kia Consulting YEG. So you can find me there as well. And my website just being revised, and hopefully it's going to be online a little bit later today. And it is kiaconsulting.ca. So thanks for hearing me out, you guys. And we will, in the comments, post the 3 C's from the strategy around communication, just so you don't miss that one either. That's all for now. I wish you well, and take care, friends.